Welcome to the Big Dawg Crypto Podcast. This is your number one crypto podcast to hear directly from the movers and shakers, innovators, and disruptors in the cryptocurrency industry. Follow on Twitter for updates and to communicate directly at Woof Big Dawg. That's at Woof Big DAWG. Now, here is your host, the one and only Big Dawg Crypto.
And welcome to the latest episode of the Big Dawg Crypto Podcast. I am your host, Big Dawg Crypto. And this is a very special episode because this is one of my favorite accounts. One of the more interesting ones in our space without any question, because he has come up with some phenomenal songs. Lil Bubble, how are you doing?
Hello, my friend. I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
Hey, I appreciate you being on. So, I mean, you're in crypto Twitter. You know how the community is. I always say we're kind of like a family, not to be cliche-ish, but, we all get along, very much on the same page. But you're definitely one of probably the most different account because you have come up with some amazing songs. I got to ask you, do you have a musical background or where did all that come from?
Yeah, definitely. I grew up with music. I grew up playing in bands as a guitarist and doing the odd bit of vocal. I'm actually not a singer, so the Little Bubble project has been something new for me as being like the main vocalist on the project. But yeah, I kind of went from that background into electronic production when I finished high school and did the whole EDM DJ producer circuit and played around the sweaty nightclubs and stuff. So kind of just bring those skills into making crypto memes, which is kind of different, but kind of fun.
That's interesting. So you actually do have a history in music and stuff. Okay, now that's very cool. I kind of thought you did, but it was one of these like, maybe he does, but maybe he just likes music. You know what I mean? It was kind of hard to figure out, but I think that's awesome. Let me ask you this. I mean, you've had a lot of songs that have had a lot of good responses to. I mean, can I ask you what's your favorite one so far? Because you have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that gets harder all the time because I guess I just keep making them. I think I've got over 50 music videos on the YouTube now. I decided to try to count them this morning just to work that out. And I've got probably, probably more than 20 unreleased as well. So they just kind of keep piling up. And to be honest, I can't choose a favorite. I think the main, my favorite thing about the Little Bubble project is that it lets me make all different genres. You'll see covers of like Blink-182 or Panic at the Disco, and then there's all the rap songs and like stuff. Because I have a very eclectic music taste, and that's one of the main kind of frustrations of prior music projects is that obviously you need a bit of a brand and a sound. So you've got a particular project, you kind of have to stay in your lane, and you can't really go from making a metal song to a punk song to a rap song. So that's what I like about Little Bubble is it's purely for fun and there's no real rules or boundaries there. So I like all the music because it's all so different.
It is and it's fun, and of course everybody who's seen your video and has watched, you've had like, the way the whole look is and everything. We think about alts on the moon and stuff like that. But I mean, you've gotten people from, I think, Arthur Hayes to comment on your stuff, to CZ, like everybody in the industry knows your stuff, which has been so cool to see.
Yeah, man, it's been pretty crazy.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So I always like to ask all my guests, what was the first time? Do you remember what you were doing and where you were when you heard about Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think I would have to have been like on the news. I'd heard it in passing every now and then. Like this would have been very early. Obviously pre-2017, which is when I entered. So maybe like a 2015-ish or and I remember actually I used to work at McDonald's. I was flipping burgers, and I that's probably the most vivid early Bitcoin memory I have is I was telling the guys at McDonald's that I'm going to buy some Bitcoin, and I never did because it was kind of just one of those things that was in the too hard basket. And I did some Googling, and there was wallets and exchanges, and I was just like, I don't really know what's going on. And obviously the infrastructure was a lot more, like I guess not gate kept, but a lot harder to work out back then, and obviously keeps getting easier for the customer, but. Yeah, never did. Regretted that. And it was actually when I heard about Ethereum for the first time that I was just like, stuff it. I'm going to buy some of this stuff because I'm not doing the Bitcoin thing again and missing out. So it was just purely like a noob FOMO thing, buying this new thing called Ethereum. And that's how it started.
No, so it's interesting when you talk about, being at McDonald's and whatnot. A lot of people have been there. And I think CZ actually worked there too. But we watch whenever alts go down, right? Everybody goes, "Oh, I'm going to apply back to go to McDonald's." Let me ask you this: when it comes to alts in general, are you a very active trader on them?
Not so much anymore. I guess depending on the market, like I was pretty active back in the previous bull run in the 2021 kind of year. But that's the one probably downside I'd point out with the little bubble project is that it takes away the time and energy that I would have spent in the crypto market as a trader and a speculator. So it's much harder to keep up with. Obviously, we know how fast the space moves, so it kind of takes like an everyday involvement and research and keeping up with everything. But yeah, when you're making content, when it comes from like obviously the production, the music and the recording and then the videos and stuff, it's kind of time intensive. So it takes away from my my speculator time. But at the moment, no. Thankfully I sold most of my alts a little while back. Not at the top, unfortunately, but no alts for me at the moment.
Okay. Well, that, it definitely takes time. You're right about that. There's no question. But you put a lot of effort into your music, you can tell. And have you ever thought about doing a tour?
Oh man, like I have done a few shows. They've been cool.
Okay.
I've played in Singapore at Block Show Asia. That was pre-COVID, so late 2019. Yeah. And then obviously COVID came and all the conferences kind of stopped. And then I went to Paris late last year, September last year for Binance. I did a couple of shows in Paris, which was super cool. And then I performed at NFT Fest Australia. I think that was early this year.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I'm definitely more of a studio artist, and just that it's more convenient for me, I guess. And that's where I really like to spend my time creating and being a mad scientist in the studio making crypto memes. So, but yeah, obviously it's cool to get out and meet the people as well. And it's good to have something to allow you to travel and visit these events. So yeah, man, like a tour is never out of the question. We'll see how the demand goes, and we'll. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: when it comes to music in general, I mean, what sort of bands do you go and watch?
I'm a big metal fan. But yeah, like I said, I grew up on all kinds of music, but it was mostly the heavier side of things. And it was kind of, for me, it was metal and rap. They were the two kind of extremes that I was interested in. And that kind of carries over to today. So yeah, I just went a couple of weeks ago and saw Architects, a UK metal band. They're one of my favorites.
Nice.
And I've got tickets to Knotfest, which is Slipknot's festival this month, late this month, I think. So yeah, they're another one of my favorites. And I think the Wu-Tang Clan are coming with Nas.
Oh, nice. No, they're awesome
this year. So I'll be going to that one too. Nice. So yeah, it's kind of metal and rap for me. A bit of punk. Yeah.
Nice. So you definitely get to travel a lot and get out there, which is very cool. I always like to ask, what's a country or two countries that if you had a chance you would go to in a heartbeat?
I really want to go to Dubai. That stands out to me. Like,
oh, it's awesome. Oh my gosh. The
first one.
Yeah.
Okay. It just looks so cool, man. And obviously they've got a big crypto audience that seems to keep growing. So like, yeah, they're very crypto friendly, business friendly. And I think that kind of makes that flourish over there. And yeah, it looks cool. There's some cool people and some cool places there. And I think that's on my list for sure.
Oh, it's definitely, Dubai is absolutely one of the best places. I had a chance to go there. Absolutely loved it. No question about that. But that would be cool. That would absolutely be cool. And it's a very big crypto scene. Without any question. So that's been cool to see. So, well, let me ask you this: what looking at the future, what do you hope to see when you look at the markets and stuff, right? Because we've seen so much stuff. Obviously, the FTX thing was, made so much news. What do you hope to see coming up? Let's say in the next year.
Man, at the moment, I really just want them to sort out this banking side of things. There's been some issues there, and yeah, I don't really know what the agenda of the SEC is at the moment. Whether they're going on with this Operation Choke Point that everybody keeps talking about, and trying to who knows what they're up to or their agenda is behind the scenes. But
it's crazy, it's crazy to see that, because it's like America's America, yet crypto is worldwide. So. Yeah, you're seeing the I don't say the overreach, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they're trying to regulate it, yet we're a worldwide community.
For sure, yeah. So yeah, to answer that question, kind of, if we could just get back to where we were a year or two ago, that would be good, and we'll take it from there and keep building, I guess.
people would be happy. I think there's no doubt about that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me ask you, in the space, I mean, what when you look at the space and people are learning to like research and stuff, what would you tell somebody new? Because there's a lot of new people that listen and will watch. What would you recommend for them to learn about the space, learn about projects? Like, what would you tell them?
I think the main thing that we've all learned in the past year, especially, is just self-custody.
Right.
You can't really, it's too risky to even tell somebody to, just buy on this exchange and leave it there. And I think, which it's fortunate and unfortunate at the same time. I know self-custody is a big thing with crypto, and that's kind of what we should be teaching anyway. But it is still very time intensive, and it's a lot for someone to learn who has no idea about the space. So I guess that's the main thing is, if you want to get into crypto, you really need to get into crypto and spend the time to learn what you're doing and how things work. And there's no real shortcut to buying this stuff or trading and investing in this space. I guess that's my main advice, is just to put the time in, learn about self-custody, how it all works, and do your due diligence. And
that's kind of, and I agree with you. I think that's definitely the main way. And as far as though with your music, I think, I saw a tweet recently where you said you have an album coming out, or you have stuff ready for an album, or what do you have on the horizon?
Yeah, I have probably multiple albums worth of content by now, but I've got an album that's, the album was mainly, it's mainly bullish stuff. It's some fun kind of stuff. So it's kind of on the back burner for the moment, and we'll see how the market reacts. But I've got some mini albums, some EPs and stuff in the works. I've got a bear market EP, which is 3 or 4 songs that will be out super soon. Nice. I've just did a collab EP with my friends at NASDAO. They're a fork of the Nouns NFT project, if you've heard of that one. Okay. It's an extreme sports and skating centric project that I've kind of been a part of from day one. One of my good mates actually started it, and so I've been a part of the DAO and supporting those guys for a while, and I've just done a 3-track EP in collaboration with those guys. So we'll be launching that as a collection of music NFTs very soon. And then always just working on the parodies. They're kind of the lifeblood of Lil Bubble and like what he's about. So there's always multiple parodies cooking behind the scenes, and it's kind of just a matter of waiting for the right market conditions and the right sentiment to release them. So I'm always super busy.
Well, there's one thing about our space, and as you know, and you've noticed this well and done very well with this, there's always something to parody, right? There's always something going on that it's like, and I would think as a musician, it's like, I'm going to write something on this, right? Like there's just it gives a lot of options for stuff like that. I would feel.
Yeah, there's something every day, as we all know. But like I said, it's kind of time intensive to write a song, and I produce, or even if it's a parody, I remake all the instrumentals myself and stuff. It just helps out in terms of copyright and flagging, and you don't want to get removed from platforms and stuff. So it takes a bit of time sometimes to make these songs and videos. So unfortunately, I can't parody every event that happens in the space because they're so frequent, as we know. But I do what I can and have fun with it.
Do you have, is there any musical artists that kind of inspire you the most? I mean, obviously you're a musician, you love music. Is there anybody that when you look at them, you're like, I really kind of dig, whether it's DJs or, musicians or whatnot, any ones that come up that you love a lot?
Yeah, obviously the guys that I grew up listening to and in all kinds of genres. I guess with the Little Bubble project in particular, I would have to tip my hat to Weird Al Yankovic, who's kind of the king of the parody thing. So
I want to bring him up, and I was thinking that, man. I was like, can I, Brad? I don't want to. I was like, oh,
we can't,
but let me say, okay, I want to hear who else. But I was literally thinking that, but I'm like, I don't want to think I'm comparing him to Weird Al, but but Weird Al was such an interesting character that did phenomenal because his stuff was fun and funny, and you know what I mean? Like it tapped into a nerd. So no, I mean, I kind of thought that a little bit, but I'm glad you brought him up. Because I think it's a very cool thing. Like you have to have, like I think some people in this life don't have fun. Like you're having fun with stuff, right? To me, that is such a cool thing. Yeah,
exactly. And that's kind of where the main positive for me. I've had my time as like in the bands and as a DJ producer and stuff. And this was kind of started as purely a fun thing. And I've tried to keep it that way without getting too serious and having to worry about the usual stresses of a musician and the, like stream counts or performances and whatnot. So it's purely for fun, and it's nice and rough as well. I think everybody seems to go down a path of a perfectionist eventually, and it can kind of hinder your progress and cause writer's block and stuff. And like, whereas the Little Bubble project has kind of from day one been a very raw thing because the songs are just kind of memes, the videos are memes, so we can kind of keep things rough around the edges and Yeah, like I said, it's just all fun and yeah, Weird Al. Yeah, I just couldn't really not mention Weird Al when I'm doing a parody thing, right? He's the king of that, so you can't ignore that.
That's just interesting because I was thinking like it's some people may not. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people do, but some people are like, who is that? But no, it's he was legendary in his parodies of stuff that he did. But once again, it's inspiration, right, from stuff going on in the space. And I think I said crypto space it's unique. Like if you know it, you know it. If you don't, you don't. You obviously do because your stuff is so topical and relevant and fun towards it. But yeah, I mean, like there's always something going on, right? I mean, it's like every day. It's like I told somebody the other day. I said, you don't need Netflix, right? You literally just need crypto Twitter. Go on, and there's always like a new episode. There's always something going on.
Exactly, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So just a couple other things real quick. So when you're not, doing the crypto thing, not doing the music stuff, what kind of stuff do you like to do in your spare time?
I'm actually a graphic designer by day, so that's my day job. Still got one for the moment. So yeah.
Very cool.
So
okay.
I'm kind of always at a computer making stuff. So that's my life. I've got a family at home too. I've got a little daughter. Okay. She just turned 2 years old. So that she takes up most of my afternoons and weekends and having fun with her. So yeah, man, apart from that, like I'm just on a computer all day. I'm on a computer designing and editing and making videos and stuff. And then night and weekends, I try to get some studio time in with the music side of things and put it all together. And that's kind of a little bubble, I guess.
Nice. And what sort of food, you like to eat? You go to a restaurant, you got your choices. What do you go get?
Man, I'm a bad takeout guy. McDonald's, KFC, pizza.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's kind of my favorite. Going out, kind of, some ribs or try to be a little bit healthy, eat some veggies on the side. But I'm a big takeout kind of guy if it's up to me.
Nice. Well, okay. So let me just one final thing. When is the next song dropping, or do you know yet?
I literally dropped one about 6 to 8 hours ago. It's kind of going off right now on Twitter, which is cool to see.
Okay.
I released it right before I went to bed and woke up to I think maybe 60,000 views or something. And
very cool.
Yeah, man, it's always fun to when you release one that pops off and the notifications kind of just flood in and you can't keep up with them. That's
that's awesome. Funny. That is absolutely awesome. Well, brother, I appreciate it. What's the best way for people to find you, to connect to Twitter or where? What's the best way?
Yeah, Twitter for sure. The Twitter handle is the Crypto Bubble, or my username is Lil Bubble, LALBUBBLE. Twitter I kind of live on Twitter. And second to that would be YouTube because that's kind of more for like a long term where I store all my music videos. So yeah, Twitter and YouTube, Lil Bubble, you should be on the right track.
Very cool. Well, brother, I appreciate you taking the time. It says I can't say that I've heard you like on a lot of podcasts. So I feel very appreciative to get you on. I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's not something that I do overly often. Like as I said, I'm a bit of a introverted studio artist, so I'm kind of at home while I'm making stuff. But yeah, it's always good to chat. And thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate Lil Bubble on the Big Dawg Crypto Podcast. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to the Big Dawg Crypto Podcast. Follow on Twitter at WoofBigDawg. Woof, big DAWG. And run faster than the competition. Woof, woof.